shit.
Yo, what's good, people? It's the Big College Football Show at 11. Week 1 is here. College football is here officially. We got some big games to talk about. Obviously, we got to talk about the boys versus Texas in the biggest matchup of the week. But also, I'm going to let my guys here get off their talk about the big New Mexico matchup. But also LSU versus Clemson, Alabama, Florida State. We got a lot to talk about. So without further ado, let's let everybody introduce themselves. Obviously, it's your boy, Josh, the resident Buckeye fan, the only Buckeye fan here. So I'm going to feel like I'm going to get jumped today, but it is what it is. I guess next up, we got Johnny Olden. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yo, what it do? We here. Week 1, no week 0. We here, and we going to talk about it. Let's get it.
Facts. Maniac.
You already know. It's your boy. Yeah, they go to M. There you go. Listen, man, week 1, we here. Let's get it.
Where'd you find the hat? You had a 49ers hat a second ago. Bring back the 49ers hat.
You're seeing things. You're seeing things.
I'm seeing things. It's crazy.
Tell that man get off your back, Maniac.
What's good? It's your boy M3. I'm upset. We are all here on this day that the Lord has made for the coronation of Sir Bryce Underwood of House.
Hear ye.
That's crazy.
Yes, sir.
Well, Marcus, go ahead. I know you got more to add to this love train for Michigan.
Man, I'm so hyped. I am so glad college football is back, y'all. I don't even have a whole lot of rivalry shit to talk at the moment. I'm just glad that we got real football games back on the TV. I'm even excited to watch y'all play here after the show, Josh. I'm hyped to watch y'all play Texas. I want to see if y'all gonna hold it down for the conference. I want to see it. It's Marcus, the other half of House Divided. Appreciate y'all for flocking in to the show here on Saturday. Got a packed show today. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. Catch up with us every Saturday. We're trying to build this thing out.
Facts. So, as I mentioned, we got a lot of games that we need to discuss. The main ones that we're going to discuss: Texas and Ohio State, LSU, Clemson, Alabama and Florida State, as well as Notre Dame, Miami in the Sunday matchup, I believe. But let's go ahead and talk about the game of the week. It's here. Ohio State, Texas, top 3 matchup, rematch from the playoffs. I want to hear everybody else's thoughts because y'all know I'm going to come in here and give my biased thoughts about what's going to happen. But I want to hear what everybody else has to say before I get into anything. So, Texas, Ohio State matchup. Who wants to go first?
Go ahead, Marcus.
I was about to say, I'm at the top. I'll go.
Yeah.
So, starting out, right? Obviously, big time matchup like this early on in the season. 2 blue blood pedigree type programs. The focus early. And a lot late as well, but really early on in the game is going to be in the trenches. Who's got leverage? Who has an advantage? I seen that he was out there doing he was singing the victors outside the shoe. But we
don't acknowledge Portnoy here.
Yeah, we just did. Anyways, I think a lot of focus is going to be on the trenches early on in these early quarters to try to establish some sort of leverage over the other side, right? Texas and their defensive front 7 are going to be trying to do that. Ohio State and their offensive line are going to be trying to do that. I'm really interested to see what we get from the Ohio State running game, right? Gone is Chip Kelly, who was really a revival to your running game, I believe. As an Ohio State fan, I think a lot of people would agree to that. And then on top of that, you've lost a lot of talent in the room too. Quinshawn gone, Travion gone. So now you're looking at replacing those guys with younger talent. And so it's really going to be a challenge, I think, to focus. I'm sorry, y'all. My daughter is trying to break into the room.
Don't worry about it. I could relate.
It's all good. It's going to be a challenge, I think, to establish the run early. You got new starters on the offensive line. You got new starter in the backfield. Let's see how they kind of work into the running game, right? Well, as far as Ohio State is concerned. And on the Texas side, I think pressure is going to be tantamount, right, to get after Julian Sand in his first real game action at this level. I think that they're going to try to test him early and often, right? Make the guy beat us. We'll load the box, try to take away whoever they throw out there in the running game. But as far as the quarterback is concerned, he's going to have to beat us. I think that's the position they're going to try to put him in. So I think it's going to be a tough fight. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I don't think either offense is going to be at top condition today. If I guess I would give the slight home advantage to Ohio State, but the quarterback is a big equalizer in that. Huge equalizer. If Julian Sand has a day that makes him look like, just a young starter playing his first real minutes, that opens up the door for Texas to probably steal a game.
Got you.
All right, Johnny, it's on you. Thoughts?
This game really interests me a lot because they both lost so many players and then kind of reloaded somewhat. But I'm interested to see the run game. Who can run the ball and establish a run game to take the pressure off that first-time starter? Who can do it? We look at Arch like maybe if their run game is lacking a little bit, you put the pressure on Arch to do what he does with his legs and with his arm more. But I think Ohio State probably needs to establish the run a little bit more because Julian Sand hasn't started at all. And we really don't know what he has, So to put all that pressure on him, even though they're at home in the shoe, it's still pressure coming from being the quarterback at Ohio State. So I'm looking at who can establish the run and take some pressure off those young quarterbacks.
I agree. Maniac?
Sure.
Yeah, man, very interesting game. You got as history shows, there's been no first time starters going up against the number one ranked team to open the season is 0-18. But all streaks come to an end, right, Josh?
Absolutely.
So, that's something to consider. Plus, something that's not being said. Texas currently holds an 11-game win streak on the road. So one thing Sark knows how to do is win on the road. And they play in the SEC, and even before the SEC, they went into Alabama and beat the Crimson Tide. So, that's something that it matters, that mentality, that traveling mentality on the road. But like you, Marcus and Johnny mentioned, of course, the running game, right? You got James Peoples, you got C.J. Donaldson, the transfer from West Virginia. The interior of that OSU line is a veteran interior, right? Something they are going to lean in early. You don't want to put the game on Julian's shoulders too early in the game. So establishing a run is everything, even for both sides, right? So that's what I want to see on Ohio State side. Can they establish the run game? As far as Texas goes, is the wide receivers, right? Can these wide receivers get open? Against the secondary, you got Matthews, you got Iggy, you got Caleb. They even have a phenomenal true freshman in Devin Sanchez, who many OSU fans feel he will be the starter by the end of the season. We will see. But good problems to have if you OSU in the secondary. And their running back, Texas running back, what's Quintravion Wisner. He's on top of being a good running back, guys. He is a very good receiving running back. And I think that's a place where that Texas offense can exploit OSU with those linebackers. Yes. Are there what you call that? Athletic? Yes. But can they cover? That's the question. That's going to be interesting. And yes, I see Garrison mentioned, we know that Goolsby, right? Trevor Goolsby, left tackle, should be a game time decision. He has a hand. I mean, look, man, yeah, definitely handsy. But That's the number one question is the O-line. Can the Texas O-line hold up against that OSU D-line? And that's gonna be very interesting to see. But I think at the end of the day, man, Texas defense, Colin Simmons, right? This is what another thing that you haven't got spoken about. The guy as a freshman had 9 sacks, bro. 9 sacks coming returning in the SEC. No one's talking about that. If he played for Michigan, Ohio State, everyone be raving about this guy. Listen, the guy is going to come. He's going to cook. You got Anthony Hill Jr. Not only he could cover, but the guy can attack the line of scrimmage. It's going to be very, very interesting to say the least. But I would say this, man. It's a 50-50 game. It's a coin flip. It's really hard to pick. But I'm going to go with Sark and the Longhorns in a very, very close game. I'm going to go about 23-20, but this game could go either way. Would not shock me one bit if OSU wins and even wins by blowout. But I think Texas has been holding on to this for months, and I think they get it done in the shoe.
Bet. M3, thoughts?
Yeah, so it's obviously a matchup between two head coaches that are offensively minded, Sark and Ryan Day. I agree with what Maniac said. It will come down to the trenches, and I think Texas has 4 new starters on the offensive line. That's going to be tough for any team. I think their best tackle they lost for the season before the season, or at least the one with that people thought was going to be the best or most experienced. That's obviously something that is going to be tough to replace. That said, though, I think Texas has revenge on the mind. That semifinal game against the other state, Ohio State was a heartbreaker, and the way they lost it down on the goal line with a chance to tie that thing up or take the lead with a 2-point conversion, which they probably wouldn't have done. But to lose it the way they did, that was tough. I'm looking forward to a couple matchups though. Really, Jeremiah Smith versus that Texas secondary. That's a big one. I had some notes that I've completely lost because I'm on the wrong computer here, but that is definitely one of the matchups I'm looking forward to. I think though, if both teams play their best, that it's hard to beat Ohio State if they're playing the best football that they can play. But I also think that Texas's defense is probably the best in the country. Right now on paper, we'll see what happens today. I think Texas wins this game. I believe in Arch Manning more than Julian saying at this point. This is going to be Arch's first road start, though. That's a big deal. I know people have said he started before, but against lesser competition and never on the road. So that's a big deal. But I do think, his last name is Manning. He was born for this. Give me Texas, and I think they win by more than a touchdown.
All right, so I guess it's my turn to give some thoughts. I want to try to be as unbiased as I can be, but y'all know it's going to come with a heap of bias. All right, so obviously one of the big matchups in this game is going to be how Julian Sam plays versus how Arch Manning plays. First and foremost, I don't think Julian Sam is going to have this game in his hands as much as Arch Manning is going to have the game in his hands. Arch Manning is going to be the main point of their offense, even though they do have guys like Wisner, as Maniac mentioned. But it's a game that Sark is going to put in Arch Manning's hands, whereas Julian Sand has a lot of weapons. I think it's a little bit different in that standpoint. The offensive line has improved since we've seen them in the postseason with guys returning like Tegra, Austin Sareville, Luke Montgomery. Colin Simmons only had, we talked about the 9 sacks that he had. He only had 2 tackles in the game that we played against them in their last game that we've seen them in. So I don't think he does the same. I think he does a little bit better, but I think this offensive line holds up. I think we do see them obviously establishing the run, which they're going to need to do. And I think James Peoples can hopefully have a decent enough game in his first game. Again, trying to be unbiased. I do think on the defensive side of things, a lot of people don't know names like Kenyatta Jackson, don't know names like Arvell Reese that are going to come up huge, names that are going to be repeated and that you're going to hear during this game. And because of that, people have Ohio State losing this game. But it's going to be those people. Jermaine Matthews, another name, that are going to come up big. And that's why Ohio State is going to win this game, even though it's going to be a close game. Just my thoughts. I know some of y'all Michigan fans are probably going to kill me, but I have us winning the close game with a home field advantage as well, being a huge benefit here.
Yeah. I think, listen, it's a 50-50 game. You know, it's not, you can't, it's hard to lean. It depends, right? Because also what I like is Texas secondary is a veteran secondary, right? So that matters. You know, OSU arguably has the best and deepest wide receiver room in all of America. So you need a veteran secondary that's communicating well, know where to be. So that's huge for me, you know. So it's the quarterbacks, man. The trenches and the quarterbacks, man. Who's going to make the big play at the quarterback? Who's going to make the bad play, the interception, the fumble? You know, it's a lot of factors in, man. But should be a good game. Wouldn't say a classic because it could kind of be a snoozer, but we'll see, man. I'm just excited.
Yeah, I think the defenses play a huge role in this game. And so, you know, not going to be a very high scoring game, especially with two completely new quarterbacks to this. But it's the best game of the season, or one of the best games of the season for a reason, if you really like college football, which I think we all do.
Yeah, this game has been built up all off season, bro. And it's week 1. And we get to see it's not even a night game, 12 o'clock. 1 versus 3, depending on the polls. Let's get it. Like I'm ready, bro. I'm ready. Like I'm hyped for y'all game, like it's our game almost. You know what I'm saying? Because it's college football, and this is what we all been waiting on. And to also see, has Ohio State reloaded? Can Texas get their payback from last year in the playoff? You know, we're all watching and waiting to see. Has Arch Manning? Is he the protege that everyone has said he is? Is he baby Peyton? Is he a mix between Eli and Peyton? Is that what it is? You know, so we're ready to see it. And I mean, the offensive line, and like Garrison was saying, just say you hate Ohio State and that's why you picking Texas. That's a little bit true for me because I think Texas can win. And that's who I want to win, but I don't know. I have to see it. I don't quite believe it yet. I got to see it. I'm picking Texas, but I wouldn't be surprised if Ohio State won because I think they're pretty matched.
It has nothing just because we're Michigan fans picking Texas. Now, unbiased take is OSU has no chance of winning this game. Texas is gonna blow them out. I said it. It could go either way. Like this is to me is I'm a boxing guy, and this is styles make fights, but these guys are so similar, man. It's like, damn, who's gonna land that haymaker, right? And it might come down to a battle of attrition, man. Who's gonna be in shape? Which O-line is going to be the one dominating late in the game? I don't know what's the temperature right now in Columbus. I mean, you guys live there. Y'all could pretty much tell me. Got to be in the
60s.
Yeah, it's a good day for football.
It's a real good day for football.
Perfect weather. No excuses. The wind ain't blowing. Ain't no snow inside. It's perfect conditions.
Yes.
Well, anyway, I do want to say I do have respect for Texas. I do think they have a great team over there, but I wouldn't be me if I didn't ask the chat, or at least the Buckeye fans in the chat, to say horns down, baby. Horns down. Ooh. Yes. Big Buckeyes in the chat. Like What's up? What's up?
Like that.
Anyway, let's go ahead and get into Marcus's segment. Yes. The Saturday Huddle. Ready to see what he has to talk about today.
Absolutely. All right, hold on. Here's stuff up here. Cool. So
are you doing that? Let me read this super chats real quick.
Do your thing.
So we got a $4.99 from Sherrod. He says, "Go Blue Horns, beat those suck eyes. I'm going to miss Lee Corso."
Me too. That's why he's going to put the Buckeye head. Shout out to Lee Corso.
Yeah, he didn't really like the wing helmet, so I guess I'll miss Lee Corso in spirit. I don't really. it don't really hurt my feelings all that much, but appreciate the donation there. We absolutely appreciate that. So this is week 1. This will be the inaugural segment of the college football huddles. A quick rundown of what that is. Be looking for stories across college football that affect not only just the players, people on the field, but the viewers, the people who immerse into the game as well, right? And this is news that sometimes doesn't get pushed on your larger networks, your larger platforms. Don't talk about it from the angles that we would appreciate it from a viewer or a fan perspective. So this week, there was a story, or a couple weeks ago, it's actually a couple weeks old, but this week's story is a story from our favorite Ryan Day super fan, Pete Thamel, in which he actually brings us some good information on a plan that the Big Ten has been shopping around for a 24-team or 28-team playoff expansion, which includes a lot of auto bids for the Power Fives and some rearranging for the at-large stuff. I'll read through here in a second, but I wanted to kind of talk about it and get obviously the panel's thoughts. You know, you guys will be chatting in the chat there, letting us know what you guys think about it. So let's jump in the huddle.
So bowl games effectively mean no. Oh, my fault. I thought
I'm about to let you.
Okay, cool. Go ahead. That's crazy.
All right. The Big Ten has considered an idea of massive expansion to a college football playoff that would grow the postseason to 24 or 28 teams, sources told ESPN. While the idea is in the very early stages, the proposal eliminates conference title games and offers a large number of auto bids for all 4 Power 4 leagues, sources say. For example, in the 2018 model, the Big Ten and SEC would each get 7 auto bids, while the ACC and the Big 12 would receive 5. There are to be 2 auto bids for non-Power 4 conferences and 2 at-large bids. So just basically the remaining 4 after the Power 4 gets theirs are either at-large or non-Power 4. The 2018 format would put 20 playoff games on campuses, which would accentuate the success from last year's college. I wouldn't necessarily call that a success, but sure, of last year's college football playoff. The Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petitti ran the idea by his conference Wednesday, sources said. So this was 2 Wednesdays ago, as it has begun being shared by others. So Petitti and the Big Ten are kind of shopping around the idea of expanding the playoff and beefing up the automatic bids. One thing that kind of has driven this conversation to this point is the fact that there is one of the Power 5 conferences that was essentially padding their schedules every year. If we're talking about an even kill, like a place where we could judge all teams equally, and one of the conferences, the conference that seemed as the biggest conference, the strongest conference a lot of these years, is only playing 8 conference games, is allowed to play, high school teams in the month of November. There's a little bit of discrepancy there in terms of who deserves what in terms of bids, on top of whether or not this is even something that's good for college football in general, going to 28 teams, right? First question is, have we broke our brains around expansion? Have we gotten to the point where we're just going to suicide bomb the sport in general? Because I do believe that a 2018 playoff is the death of college football. And I have particular reasons why, but I'll let y'all get into it. Also, secondly, does the SEC potentially picking up an extra conference game slow some of this down? In terms of, hey, we need all these teams so we can get all these auto bids. If everybody's playing the same amount of conference games a year now, is there a better negotiating standpoint? Y'all go.
Yeah, Josh.
Yeah, so first of all, I do feel like I agree. This is going to bring forth the death of college football, plus the death of bowl games. None of that's going to matter anymore. Conference championships might not matter anymore because there's going to be so many bids for each conference. I don't like it. I don't like it. I will say the nice thing about any kind of expansion is that every time it expands, somebody wins a championship. But I don't like it necessarily. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't want anything to do with it. I'd rather just win the championship with the 12 teams that are in it right now. So, no, definitely not for it.
Yeah. Johnny?
I'm not really for it. I get it. You know, I always look at the big thing, the big picture of this business. It's business, more money, more money, more money. That's what it always goes to. But it will water down the regular season to almost mean nothing, kind of, for the top teams. It's going to lose a lot of that feel and that you have. The difference between college and the pros is the pros regular season, you're trying to get there, you win your division, and you know it's different. You can lose 3, 4, 5 games and make the playoffs, sometimes 6, 8-8, you're in there, So that's how it is in the pros. So the regular season isn't as exciting as college is or was, where you lose one game, you're like, bro, our season might have been down the drain. Now it's 2 games. So now it's 3 games right now, and our season is probably done if we got championship aspirations. So if they do this, what will it be? We can lose 4 games and get in maybe some years, or 3, because you never know how it's going to play out. So I don't like it. Yeah, we'll get more quality games in the playoff, but I can save that for the NFL. College, I want you to have to work. I can't lose a game. We lost 1. We can lose 1 more, maybe, but we cutting it close. I like it like that, and it's gonna really hurt. It's gonna hurt to see it change if it does go like that.
Yeah, I mean, you might not even be ranked and still make it into the playoffs. It's just
if you're a 7 teams from a conference, there's never a chance where the 7th best team in a conference has a chance to win a championship. It doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, it's just a money grab. The powers that be, they just looking at dollar signs, right? College football is probably one of the more profitable sports, not named the NFL. So they just like, listen, we don't care. We're not the ones putting our bodies on the line. We just here collecting checks. Why not expand it? So and it does devalue a lot because college football, the regular season was a playoff. Right? If you lost 1 game once upon a time, you probably won't even make it to the BCS before there was an expansion to 14 playoffs. So now 28, like 3, 4, a 4 team, they're gonna go into the playoffs and just be a welcoming mat. That's all they're gonna be. So I say no, man. Even 12 to me is too much. I think 8 at most, and that's it. Give me the best 8 and we cook. So no, I'm not with it. It's cacadoodle, and hopefully it doesn't go down like that.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm with everybody. Nobody likes the idea of expanding to 24 or more than that. Where some of the numbers I saw like 32 on one, but I think just for college football fans in a way asked for this, right? Back when it was like just the bowl games and the Nebraska Michigan thing might have set this whole thing off, where Michigan was obligated to play a Rose Bowl instead of meeting Nebraska in some bowl game. And then you got split national champions. I think people were tired of splitting national championships and stuff like that. And then we got the BCS, and then people weren't happy with the computer rankings and stuff like that because of things like what happened with Florida State and somebody else I can't think of at the time, probably some school in Indiana. But people weren't happy with that. So college football fans wanted a playoff. They gave you the 4-team playoff. And then the money from that was like, yo, college football fans wanted more than 4 teams, by the way. But I think what Maniac said is the truth. 8 teams was probably the sweet spot there. But why do 8 when we can do 12? That's even more money. And I don't see it going backwards. There's no way they're going back, right?
No.
Because the money is, money drives this whole thing. And that's one of the beautiful things about capitalism and some of the worst parts of capitalism is, you can never have enough. I can never have enough money, as is told, the story is told by companies, we have $1 trillion companies now, right? So I think that we're never going back, but we can stop the bleeding, right? We can not go to 24. If we go to 24, we might as well just say, forget 24. Every game is a playoff game. You can be eliminated game 1, bro. So let's do that. I would rather that than, a 2014 playoff. Because then where does it stop? And again, we just giving you a lion a rib cage to feast off of with some of these teams, like you were talking about. The 7th best team in the conference doesn't have a shot, literally, unless every other team has a Marshall situation. No disrespect, respectfully, but they don't have a shot. Why are you here? You know what I mean? So it makes no sense. It's stupid. Somebody needs to stop this, and hopefully it stops at 12, which it doesn't look like it will. It looks like it'll go to 16, but hopefully that's it.
Interesting. Oh, I just want to say one last thing. The interesting thing is, we saw SMU and other teams like that at the bottom of the playoffs last year, and we think the answer is to bring more of that. Give us more of that.
Crazy.
That makes sense.
That's
Go
a
ahead,
fact.
Marcus.
That you let me right into my point. I'm going to combine a few things that Maize said and take that into the final part of the segment here. So will it ever go backwards? And is this all about capitalism? Maybe and yes. See, the only thing that makes it reverse is more of what they got last year, which was middling viewership for those early round games, and a lack of competitiveness in those early round games, and continuous decrease in attendance and viewership. And that's where it comes down to for us as a viewing audience, right? If we don't like something, I do still feel like we're at an inflection point with college football where there can be a bit of regression, but you have to show it in your dollar. You have to show it in what you spend for. I, for one, think the NFL is up for a rude awakening this season because it's more expensive now than it has ever been to watch an entire NFL season. It's well over $1,000 if you want to watch every game. So they're in for a rude awakening. I think there's a breaking point where you can alienate your audience. All right, we talk about this kind of shit all the time on back of the bus, talking about movie studios and television networks alienating their core audiences. The further and further you get away from what is nostalgic to people, the more you've morphed the product into something that's not digestible to them, that's not watchable, and they will turn around and watch something else. People are fickle. And so if we get to that inflection point where it's too much for us, you need to voice that in going to watch something the fuck else.
That's a fact.
Do you got the last thing? Did you think that maybe the SEC playing more ball amongst their conference is going to help slow some of this down?
Hopefully, I think so. I think it helped some.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they should do some relegation or something. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's gonna definitely slow it down because that might give one of the top teams another loss, down the line, instead of playing the Chick-fil-A A&M in November, the last week of November.
Chick-fil-A A&M is crazy.
That's how it'd be though. Like literally, it'd be week 12, Alabama versus the Citadel, Tennessee versus Chattanooga. I was like, man, what? What's going on here?
IUPUI.
Yeah.
I didn't know they had a football team, bro.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into some of the other games that we've got this week. The other big game this week, LSU versus Clemson. Dabo versus Brian Kelly. Look, I'm not a huge Brian Kelly fan at all. I don't like Dabo Sweeney, but I mean, I think Clemson is looking like one of them teams this year. So, personally speaking, I think I got Clemson winning this one.
Yeah, definitely. No, definitely, man. You got, LSU's coming into this game on the 5-game losing streak in openers, right? So down the SEC country, they're not happy about that. But one thing they have coming back, and this is an important thing. Garrett Nussmeier, who, yes, we talk about Arch as that guy, right? But Garrett might be the best quarterback in the SEC when it's all said and done at the end of the year. He has that, right? LSU is a program. Getting talent has not been an issue for them. Although they lost 3 top recruits. Bryce, I forgot the receiver's name, and
DeCorian Moore.
DeCorian Moore, and the one that flipped to Tennessee. I forgot his name. Recently.
Tristan
Keys.
Yeah.
Keys. So they're just that's not good. But anyway, LSU is bringing in the top transfer portal class. So they did a lot of digging in the offseason. Brian Kelly understands how important this season is. They do return their top linebacker with Weeks. He's that SEC type athletic quarterback, sideline to sideline. Everything besides that is still question mark. And then we go to Clemson, man. You're talking about a lot of people are picking this team to win the national championship. And you can see why, right? You got Cade Klubnik. In fact, Clemson brings back the most returning production of any team in the nation. That matters. They whole O-line, I believe, is either returning starters, or 4. Right? You got 2 receivers. That Brian Wesco Jr., he had a phenomenal freshman season. He's coming in for his sophomore season. He should be cooking. And their defense, man, they led by TJ Parker, a veteran D-line. The secondary is good. This Clemson team is loaded, man. And I can see why they are being picked to win the national championship. This is the Tigers versus the Tigers, Death Valley versus Death Valley. It's, Clemson, LSU, night game should be one phenomenal game, but I got to go with the home team. The team with the most experience should be another good one. But I'm going to have Dabo. I think Clemson edges this out, but I think it's a hell of a game.
Facts. Who's next?
So the day that Brian Kelly wins a game like this early on in the season versus another power in their conference will be the day that pigs fly, that a snowball will survive in hell, that any other cliche you can throw out there. I don't trust Brian Kelly as far as I can throw him, and he's gained a few pounds over the years.
Yeah.
I just don't trust it. Now, I kind of have the similar relationship with this game that Josh does. I'm not a big Dabo fan. I think he's a bit of a rah-rah guy, but I have a little bit more confidence in him, big games, and how his players are going to react when they get into these situations, as opposed to Brian Kelly, who always seems to find a way to lose these type of matchups. Give me Clemson on this one, probably by multiple scores when it's all said and done, probably by 2 touchdowns.
Somebody in the chat called Brian Kelly SEC's James Franklin, and
basically,
I would agree.
Discount Franklin.
So for me,
Dollar Tree Franklin.
Dollar Tree Franklin is crazy. For me, I originally had Clemson winning this game. They're at home, I believe, and all the hype that's behind Clemson right now. I think Maniac spoke about it, them bringing back the most production and stuff like that. Klubnik being a preseason Heisman favorite for a bunch of people. But I think what they're forgetting is Nussmeier is also a preseason Heisman favorite for a bunch of people. LSU did have the best, transfer portal class. And even without that, they have a bunch of playmakers. I think they're deeper than Clemson. Clemson might have the advantage with their starters. I expect Clemson's defense to be good, and they got some difference makers on the outside or at wide receiver too. But I think that LSU is still more explosive, and I think LSU can score quicker than Clemson. I think they can, there'll be a couple of those plays in this game. I think Nussmeier has a chance to really stamp his Heisman Trophy case early in the season here against another Heisman Trophy favorite, somebody that people might even have above him on that list. And for me, even though Cade Klubnik showed some signs last year, he has not been who they promised he would be throughout his college career thus far. Mm. And for me, he's in the same boat as Drew Aller. I said this last night on week 0, but I'm taking Clemson. LSU in this game, and I think they win by 10 points, 10 or more. Man. Because I just think they're more explosive. I think Brian Kelly, it's his time to win one of these games early in the season.
Is it though?
And well, it might not be, right? Because if what you guys are if it's true about him being the SEC's version of James Franklin, then no. But I think, and I've been beating the Brian Kelly drum for a long time, right? Because I'm not a fan of Brian Kelly by any means, but I do think he did a job. He went to Notre Dame, who was a dumpster fire at the time. He turned that program around. He got them to a national championship game. They did play the Monstars. They did get ran off the field. He turned around. He got them to 2 CFP playoffs, right? They lost both times early. But the point is, he's a good coach. At the end of the day, he's a clown. He does clown things, him and his family. And all of that, but at the end of the day, he can coach football, and I think that Dabo's a better coach, at least on the great scale. Dabo's greater than Brian Kelly, but I think it's Brian Kelly's time, and he has a good team, bro. Like, this team is really good. I don't want to undersell them in any way, and I think they're more explosive. I think they get it done.
Gotcha. I'm a little twisted on this one because what's it? LSU Nussmeier, he's got the hype. Last year he had a lot of attempts. That means he's dropping back a lot, on about 40 times a game almost, if for sure. So going against a team like Clemson with that front four that them boys come to play. So it's an interesting dynamic to me what that can be, because when a team has a good front four like that, even though you're a good passer, do you really want to put it all on him? So I'm interested to see how LSU's run game is, and can they run it on Clemson so they can play complementary football, not just put it all on Nussmeier to have to dink and dunk all the way down the field and try to hope to get an explosive play on that Clemson defense, which is a really good defense. And with Clemson and Klubnik, he kind of had high attempts too last year. But the thing with that Clemson defense, and I saw with the Texas in some of these other games, is last year the teams, they have a really good defense, but the team speed on defense is lacking a little bit with Clemson. So if LSU can establish a good run game and, once they get on those edges, expose Clemson a little bit with their speed, it could be a bad day for Clemson. It could be a bad day if they do that. So I was leaning a little bit more towards Clemson, but no, I think I'm gonna take Clemson. Saying all that, I'm still gonna pick Clemson. I'm still gonna pick Clemson. I like Dabo. A lot of people don't like him. I like Dabo. I got respect for dudes that have built something and and have won the championship, especially if you've done it twice. Because in this day and age, it ain't many dudes got 2 rings. So I put a lot of, I'm from the Jordan era. You got rings, I'm gonna respect you a little bit more. The more you got, the more respect I got for you. So I'm gonna ride with Clemson. I think Klubnik and the boys and that defense finds a way to get it done against LSU.
Bet. Fellas, how do y'all feel about an audible? I really want to let y'all get y'all shit off about Michigan versus New Mexico. So do we start off with Johnny's You Get Nothing segment?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Got you. So this is a segment, of course, people that have been watching me know my slogan for a couple years, about 2-3 years, was you get nothing. You get nothing. And so with that being said, I got the segment in here, you get nothing. And these aren't just great defensive performances. Some of these are just you thought you was gonna get some, but you get nothing. So let's see who we got here. Former Michigan quarterback. I know him, you know him, Alex Orji.
Oh man.
He thought he was gonna run into the end zone.
Takes the snap. Orji around the right side. Orji inside the 5. He dives to the end.
Yikes.
Orji thought he was finna have an orgy in the end zone, but instead, you get nothing.
They pulled my man out of the game after that, bro. They pulled him out of the game for like 3 series after that. I was flabbergasted.
You're out of here. Don't even talk about it, Marcus. He's out of here. You get nothing. You get nothing. So
That's
see.
crazy that he had the ball considering he's a linebacker, right? He's a linebacker.
Stop it.
Whoa, slow it down there.
Don't do that.
100 tackle season this year.
100.
Where's Devin Brown playing this season?
It could have been done. But
Where's Devin Brown playing this season?
He's not playing. First of all,
He's not playing.
He's not even
rivalry chat. So look, this next one, let me see. This next one, I'm gonna play it first because I can't see who it was.
Oof.
That was Nunberg from week 0, Kansas State and Iowa State. He thought he was about to return the kick return. Instead,
Yo,
you get nothing. You ain't returning no kick, boy. You finna get flipped. You finna get tossed. That's what you're gonna get.
You get gymnastics.
Exactly. So, not only that, I got another one from the same game also. This is Avery Johnson. Big time dual threat quarterback, I guess you would say. It's a 4th and 1, and he thought he was finna tiptoe for the first down. Oh, you tiptoeing. Let's see. He tiptoeing. Let me play it again. It looked like it skipped.
Yo, he.
Thoughts on whether this was the right call on the field?
bro, I actually think he got that.
I hope he got cooked in film for that. That was soft.
He ran up tiptoeing.
It was a very soft run. But
don't hit me. Don't hit me. Don't hit me, please. Don't hit me. Man, run in there. Get that yard.
Hey, his father and brother went way harder than that.
I say his father and brother wasn't playing.
Well, his
when
father
you
was.
You get nothing.
Right.
That's what you get. So I got 2 more, and then we move on. We're moving on. So,
Oof.
Fresno State. You scored 7 in the first quarter, and then the rest of the game, you get nothing. You get nothing. Last one, y'all. Last night, Wisconsin, Miami of Ohio. You don't get no field goal. You don't get no cheerleaders. You don't get no play out after the game. You get nothing, and you like it.
Yeah, that was that
17 against Miami of Ohio is crazy too.
Segment. I'm gonna be looking for clips, looking for great defensive performances, and then I'm gonna come on here and laugh about it.
Bet. Well, I'm gonna let you stay up there because we got to talk about Michigan and New Mexico. I want your thoughts about what Bryce Underwood is going to do. Apparently, Dave Portnoy is out here already promising Heisman for Homeboy. So, thoughts?
Homeboy, you know his name.
No, what's his name? Homeboy? Dave Homeboy?
Yeah, Portnoy.
Portnoy.
Pizza Boy?
Why y'all
Pizza
so
Review
worried
Boy?
about him?
I don't like him. I hate Dave Portnoy.
They are eternally
outside of the rivalry.
Yeah, he's
Outside
the
of the
pizza
rivalry,
boy.
I do
You're
not
right.
like
He
Dave
delivered that dough to Bryce Underwood.
Yo,
That's crazy. That is crazy. Anyway, I know y'all think Bryce is going to do okay. I know Marcus already gave his thoughts on what he wants out of Bryce Underwood. So what y'all got?
I just want to see Bryce, look like I want to see him get comfortable. Because practice ain't the game. I've said this since I started my channel, probably. Practice ain't the game. So you got live bullets and you're playing another team and you're not used to seeing the scheme and things like this. So I want to see him get comfortable and make some throws downfield, but just, get some of those butterflies out of the way, because this is a big time start in Michigan, and the state of Michigan is clamoring for this dude, like it was crazy when we went up there. So I just want to see him make some throws, but I want to see him hit a deep throw. I want to see him hit a deep bomb, 40, 35, 40, 50 yards, so he can get those safeties out of the box already to know this ain't last year. You can't put 8 in the box and beat us that way. That is over.
Bet. Who's next?
I'll go next. I think obviously everybody wants to see Bryce Underwood. He's the former #1 recruit. And as Michigan fans, you want to see, some sense of offense, right? Being able to complete the forward pass is key. I believe Michigan almost last. Only the service academies were worse than Michigan in total offense a season ago, or pass offense especially, I believe. But Bryce Underwood is the story, honestly. However, we want him to look good in this game, and show, the world basically why he is the former #1 overall prospect in the country. If you're a Michigan fan, you obviously, like I said, want to see the offense with a pulse. For New Mexico, they lost everything, bro. They lost Devin Dampier. He's now at Utah. They lost. I think the coach went with him to Utah. So it's at least the offensive coordinator, I believe. But it's gonna be tough for New Mexico to get anything, because I believe this Michigan defense is gonna be very good. There are people who say that they have a chance to be better than last year. I'm one of those people. I believe that they have a chance. Obviously, they lose. You can't replace the players necessarily. Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant, right? You don't go out and try to replace those guys. Will Johnson, we can't forget about Will Johnson. He didn't play a lot last year, but you don't replace those guys individually. But as a team and with depth, I think you can, not replace, but kind of create your own juju, if you will, right? Especially on that defensive line. They're going to be very people on the defensive line, and I don't think New Mexico has a lot to be afraid of. So I expect a big win for Michigan, but more importantly than that, I just want the offense to look good. That's really it.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Who's next?
Yeah, I'll come. Listen, man, we know Bryce. Remember when we flipped him from LSU, it was a big thing. He's a generational talent. He's a quarterback that any school would love to have, and we're lucky to have him. And as far as for Bryce, man, we want to see him comfortable in the offense, right? We want him like, okay, he knows what he's doing out there. He don't look lost, which he might have. He's a true freshman. He's not a redshirt freshman. He's a true freshman. He was playing high school football not even a year ago. So people have to understand that, take that to consideration. There will be some growing pains. But also, I want to see that that confidence that he displayed a week or two ago. You've never seen a freshman like me. Okay, Bryce, like we said on Johnny's show last Sunday, now he got to stand on it. Let's see. Let him throw the we definitely going to see him throw the ball at least 40 yards down the field tonight, 3 to 4 times minimum. That's minimum. But we got to run the ball. We just need I just want him to just be comfortable in the offense. We see Davis Warren never look comfortable. Orgy never look comfortable. And luckily, having Chip Lindsley is a huge thing, and I think he understands why he has, and I don't think Lindsley's going to mess that up. And he's going to make things comfortable for Bryce, 4 or 5 yard passes, and we'll see what it is. But I know this, man, that if Bryce is going to be who we think he's going to be, then he can have a big season this year. But regardless, he'll struggle, and that's that. But I'm hoping just to see him confident in there. That's it, brother. It's your time. And hopefully, he shows that and he matures quickly because he's going to have to.
Yeah, man, I'm not much for the bulletin board material. I think the first time that he does have one of those struggles that a lot of y'all talked about, they're going to be all too ready. The internet will all be all too ready to throw that back in his face. So I wasn't really big on the comments that he did when they had the Big Ten media at training camp or whatever. But in terms of what I'm looking for, though, I've tapered off my expectations way, way low. Like I want him to protect the football. I want him to keep us on schedule. I want him to look competent at the position. That's the bar, right? Because we got none of that last year. Not a single bit of it, right? We down there with the service academy in total offense and passing offense, and somehow squeaked out 8 wins out of that season. That's why I'm so bullish on the team at least throughout the conference, because if that's the level of production you can get from basically nothing on offense, then I'm expecting at least the level, the floor, the basement even of the team to be much higher than what it was last year. But in terms of Bryce specifically, move the ball when you're asked to, protect it, stay on the field, possess the ball. That's going to be the biggest thing for us as a team. So as long as he's able to do that, the rest of the stuff has come. We know he's fast. We know he's physically imposing. We know he can throw the ball a mile. And when he's able to do those things at command, we'll be unstoppable. Right now, we need him to play efficiently within the offense so that we can keep winning games while he's getting better. And so I don't want him to get outside his body and start trying to be Superman. I see people in the chat, 275, 3 touchdowns, 66 running yards. Nah. If he go out there and throw for 70% and he only has 150 yards, I'm happy. As long as there's no turnovers, I'm happy. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for proficiency, efficiency.
Yeah, so I think it's obvious New Mexico doesn't really have much of a chance in winning this game. And so with that being said, I obviously have Michigan winning this game. I'm going to go ahead and get into my segment. A lot of y'all think, a lot of my guys here think that this segment is crazy because y'all going to get mad at me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give y'all my picks.
People are going to love this.
My parlay, and you can listen if you want to. So the reason I started off with this is because Michigan, New Mexico, I would stay clear of it, right? Unless you can get the money line and get the for sure win that Michigan's going to win against New Mexico, I would steer clear of it because I don't know what Michigan's going to do, right? Are they going to just go with the easy win, run the ball, get Bryce a little bit comfortable, but then move on to the big game that they have in week 2? I don't know. 35 is a big spread, and I don't know that y'all are going to try to beat New Mexico by 35 when you know you're just going to win the game and move on to Oklahoma. So I would stay clear of that game. I take the under on Ohio State, Texas. We talked about this a little bit earlier. Very defensive game, 2 new quarterbacks. I take the under for sure on points. I also stay clear of Utah and UCLA because if UCLA is ever going to have a decent season, it might be this season, and Utah is not all the way there. So I stay clear of that game completely. But I do got Notre Dame against Miami of Florida in the away game. It'll be a close game. But I don't think Miami has what it takes on the offensive side to beat Notre Dame. And I like Marcus Freeman. You know, he's a Buckeye, so I still like him, even though he said some crazy shit. But I got Notre Dame winning that game. So if you can get money line on Notre Dame against Florida, go ahead and take that. And that's what I got for my segments. So let's go ahead and get into these other games.
Hold on, Josh. Before you move on, it's important to say this. The thoughts and views of Josh during Josh's bets are Josh's and Josh's alone and don't necessarily reflect the Big College Football Show at 11. All right.
Facts.
That's crazy. I'm just telling y'all what's on my parlay. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, y'all can listen or not. That's right. Up to y'all.
We're going to get money, Josh. We're going to get money.
Win big money, though. You know what I'm saying? no endorsement of Johnny Football here, but we're going to win big money.
Right.
All right. Big money. Alabama, Florida State. I got Alabama winning this one because Florida State still not that team. I don't think we're ever going to see that team that they had a couple years ago. So I got Alabama winning this one pretty easy. Do they win by 14? Who knows? That's what the spreads got. But I definitely got Alabama going into Florida State and winning this one.
Yeah.
Portnoy picked the Buckeyes?
Smart man.
Interesting. So wait, what are we still talking about?
Florida State. Bama, Florida State.
For sure. All right. I'm going Bama as well. Right. I think they'll have the edge on the offensive and defensive line. That's kind of where a lot of these games are going to be won today.
That's
nobody's going to be at peak condition. Nobody's going to be firing at all cylinders as far as offensive install. Like, I mean, they maybe have most good teams probably have had a few weeks, maybe 2 weeks of actual game install. And that's if they have a starter by then already. If you named your starter this week, then you've had 1 week of offensive install. So I don't expect a lot of offensive explosion at a lot of these marquee games. I think you'll see that at a lot of the teams where there's a talent discrepancy. For a game like this, it's going to be who can move who off the ball. I got a little bit more confidence in DeBoer and the boys down there in Tuscaloosa than I do Norvell and Tallahassee. So give me Bama.
Yeah, I got Bama. I mean, this one ain't a hard one. We run through this real quick. I got Bama. Too much talent, too much consistency. Florida State is still trying to find themselves. They got all these new dudes, all these transfers, and that can't work. You know, but you're playing Russian roulette with it. You don't know until you know. So I'm picking Bama in this one because it's just too much consistency and too much talent. So
yeah. Go ahead, Maniac.
Yeah. Just Florida State, horrible season, 2-10. Bringing in the new DC, bringing in the new OC, but they are bringing in Gus Malzahn, who's like, his offense is considered, this is for the pause community, smash mouth spread. That's that's his offense. They are bringing in Thomas Castellano, the recruit, the transfer from Boston College, athletic guy, could throw the ball, could run the ball. The good thing about Florida State, if there's a good thing, they playing at home. That's just probably the only good thing about it. Home games is always good. Now, as far as Alabama, man, Ty Simpson, this is a guy who's really waited his turn. He's waited his turn. He could have transferred to many programs, but he waited his turn. And they're going to be good. They got a good O-line. They got the only thing is Jan Miller, right? They projected started running back, broke his collarbone. So I think he's going to be out to about October-ish. So, but they still got Richard Young and Daniel Hill, man. One of them was a fringe 5-star. The other was a highly 4-star. So good running backs. Of course, they wide receiver room arguably have the number one receiver in the country, Ryan Williams, but he doesn't have a quarterback, so we'll keep that to Jeremiah. And they did get another transfer in what's that? Isaiah Horton, right? And this is Bama. This is Bama all the way.
and expect Kalen DeBoer, man, to make a statement early. But I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I see it like more like a 27, like 14 kind of game, closer than expected.
Don't disrespect Ty Simpson like that. He ran Julian Sand up out of town. Okay, he's
Hey,
qualified starter.
So last night on week 0, I may or may not have jumped out of a 14-story window headfirst with no parachute and picked Florida State. But I've slept on it. I've woken up. I've had my mushroom coffee and my favorite Michigan mug, and I have decided I'm gonna change my mind. I think Alabama wins this game. I think it's closer. I think it's closer than the spread. But give me Bama.
Yeah. Bet. Did Johnny go already?
Yeah, I went.
Okay. Did I miss anybody's segment?
No.
We good on all that? Okay.
Be good. Yep.
Got Notre Dame, Miami.
Notre Dame, Miami. Yeah, I already gave my thoughts on Notre Dame, Miami. I do think it's going to be a close one, but I do think Notre Dame is going to go into Miami and get a win because I just don't think Miami. I'm not a huge. What's their quarterback's name now? From Georgia, Carson Beck. Yeah. I don't think he's going to do too much against Notre Dame. I just don't got him winning.
Got you.
Yeah, so I think I got Miami winning this game. And here's the thing. This is going to be Carr's first meaningful start, maybe his first start. And I'm talking about CJ Carr. I do think that Notre Dame has a very good offensive line, but I think that people aren't talking about Miami's defensive line enough. They've got some studs along that defensive line. I think they got 2 5-stars, maybe 3 5-stars on that defensive line. And I think they're going to be able to rattle young CJ Carr a bit. And I think that's all it's going to take. We know that they can run the ball effectively, but if you make them one-dimensional, it makes it easier for Miami to slow down the run. Now, Miami was not very good at slowing down the run a season ago, but things change. Give me Miami.
Yeah, I'll take the Catholics over the convicts. I'll go with Freeman and the Golden Domers for a couple of reasons. I think the way that most people feel about Brian Kelly and James Franklin, I also kind of lope in Mario Cristobal into that mix. There seems to be this pedigree of coach that is like they feign or they have this aura of a big dog or like a blue blood coach, a guy who I came off of Nick Saban's tree and I did this and I coached here and I coached there. But like when you look at their personal success, like not who are you associated with, but more so what have you done? What trophies have you hoisted? What big games have you won? It's just very bare cupboards, right? Same thing with not so much with Kelly, but very much so with James Franklin. So when I'm looking at it, if this is boiling down to who do I trust more to bring this game home, to make adjustments in the middle of the game, right? Because there's going to be a feeling out period for both of these teams. I'm going with Marcus Freeman over Mario Cristobal because I think he's proven that he's much closer to being able to make those in-game adjustments in big games than Mario Cristobal. Cristobal usually Mario Cristobal, he handed, who was that, Tulane a game last year, running the ball in the last 60 seconds, like a victory formation was never invented.
I think Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech, that's who it was, Georgia Tech. So I don't have confidence in guys who make those type of mental mistakes, especially from the captain seat. Give me the Catholics.
Yeah.
I want Notre Dame to lose this game, mainly because of Notre Dame bot. But I think Notre Dame's gonna win. You know, consistency means a lot. You know, and the fact that they have a system. he has a system that has been tried and true since football started. Run the ball and play defense. And you got Jeremiah back at running back, who most people think he's the best running back in college football. So it don't matter where you go. You play defense and you run the ball, you got a chance. You play great defense or really good defense and run the ball, you usually have a chance to win. Now, and that also helps you bring along a young quarterback. So I got Notre Dame in this one. Just I'd have to see it from Miami. I'm not a believer. Carson Beck might pull it off, but I'm gonna take Notre Dame.
Big bet. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, so Notre Dame, CJ Carr making his debut. I think that's the only question mark on the offense. How well is he going to command this? You got Jeremiah Love with Jadarian Price. That's going to be one of the better tandems in all of college football. Plus wide receivers in Jaden Greathouse and Malachi Fields. Two good receivers there. They O-line is, a veteran, not maybe 2 or 3 players coming back. And, deep last year, their issue was run defense. That's where they weren't good. They do bring back Drayett Bowen, linebacker. And Leonard Moore, man, he's going to be one of the best corners in all of America this year. So I think defensively and offensively, Notre Dame is stout. The thing with Miami is that they lost their top 4 receivers. How do you replace that productivity, right? Even with a veteran quarterback like Carson Beck. Still not to say they can't win this game. They are playing at home. So, college football is a funny sport. You just never know. But their O-line is good. It is a veteran O-line. And their defense is good. And just like LSU, Ryan Kelly, I think Mario Cristobal is due for one. So I've been on the fence with this game. Just like Johnny said, I want Notre Dame to lose this game, but I'm going to slightly favor them in this game, and I'm going to pick them. But this is another game that I could see absolutely going either way. 20-14 Notre Dame.
Big bad. Well, Lee Corso just gave your boys the win in this one in his final headgear pick.
We knew that.
So,
that was
with that.
He was going to circle the wagon. And real quick, I know we mentioned Brian Kelly and James Franklin. Bro, college football would explode if that's the national championship this year. That would be crazy. And bro,
how did we get here?
I'm just saying, all the jokes, right? All the jokes on them, and the college football gods will slap us in the face with that net.
That's crazy. Well, look, I think we're up at game time. I know a lot of people want to get to watching this game. I know I do. So one last time for all the Buckeyes and Cooper in the chat, give us a horns down, baby. And on that note, I think we out. Peace out, y'all.
Go Blue.
Go Bucks.
Yeah.